It's not free. You have to pay attention.
You're watching Past the Wire TV.
Big horse, but light on his feet. And he's always showed up and been consistent and been right there with some of the top horses in training. In the Bluegrass Stakes, he showed his determination and his raw ability.
It's over! Zandon wins the Toyota Bluegrass!
I feel breeders will be really blown away by what a striking, outstanding looking horse he is.
Thank you for visiting Past the Wire TV, the YouTube channel of PastTheWire.com.
Hey everybody, Geo Sette back at you, Past the Wire TV. Recording this segment amid the beauty and tranquility of a day in the park down the Jersey Shore. I just had lunch, and I figured I'd cover the next segment that I had on my mind a little more than a week now. Today I want to talk to you about overlays, underlays, morning lines, and a method that I feel would be very useful for you guys to follow and understand at a greater level. All right? First things first, never forget that this game is a fight. It's a fight against others. All right? The house is the racetrack. They're going to have their takeout, and you're playing against other people. Just like in poker, right? Poker, there's a rake. Horse racing is a takeout. So it's pari-mutuel wagering, you against other people, all right? Got to realize the significance of pools in every category, whether it's win, play, show, exotics like triples, exactas, of course, all the multi-race wagering, daily doubles, which are rolling throughout the day, pick threes, pick fours, pick fives, even pick sixes. So recognize the significance of the pools, essentially important. Now let's talk about overlays and underlays. First things first, what I would recommend, and believe me, I've learned by doing over a significant period of time, overlays are what you make out of. Same thing with underlays. But when I handicap, I'm talking about soup to nuts handicapping. Extensive film review, race replay watch, and recognizing workouts, understanding the conditions of the race, past performances, connections, all in, right? There's a lot more I didn't even mention. But I understand handicappers recognizing what the morning line is. But you know what? When I handicap, I've been doing this for a very long time, I make the morning line, all right? Am I aware? Now, by the way, if I get the PDFs and I'm handicapping, the morning line's not even there yet. Kind of like that. I'm not distracted. But if you are working with a racing form or your PDFs where you already have the morning line posted, yeah, if you want to make an observation or glance at it, that's your choice. But don't let it affect the path of your handicapping. It's my goal. And you know I go very, very deep. Obviously, the deeper the field, the deeper I go. 12 horses, I want to go as far deep as 6, 7, or 8 in terms of who I feel are potential board hitters and contenders in the race for exotic wagering. If it's a short field, 5, 6, 7, like you see a lot on the West Coast at Santa Anita or even in Naira. Very bettable races, obviously, especially if they're stakes races. But you have to recognize, in my opinion, and create what you know as the morning line should be. Glance at what the morning line is, but what's really essentially important on race day is that you recognize overlays first, all right, because you're going against others, and the overlay is going to be putting is going to put you in a favorable advantage, especially if it's associated with a horse that you like a lot. How often we're at the track, right? Or even if you're betting at home, you realize that a horse is, let's just throw 5-1 out there, and you really believe he should be in the field he's in, or she's in, should really be 6-5, 7-5, 8-5, even 2-1, right? So you know, and your opinion is strong that this horse is an overlay, okay? And this is regardless what the morning line is. You create the morning line. But if you're working with a powerful overlay, just think of the advantage that have. Your opinion is there, and you're getting a considerable amount more odds and payout, which will work to your advantage, straight or in exotic wagering. Conversely, of course, the underlay, going against other people. I want my horse, all right, to be an overlay, or my horses, plural, to be an overlay. But if you recognize who's favored in the race, and you genuinely feel that that horse is an underlay, way too much action and backing on the horse. You felt in your blood during your handicap that the horse should be, let's just say, 4-1. And on race day, this is regardless what the morning line was, but on race day, 10 minutes till post, you see the horse is 6-5, for example, all right? That works in your favor, because it really shouldn't change your opinion, because you've already done your handicap. Keep that in mind. So understanding overlays and underlays are really, really, really important, and how you put them into play in your wagering. Okay. I want to talk to you about some specific wagering, and which are tied into big fields. Let's talk about superfectas. Now, superfectas are an ingredient or a wager gimmick opportunity that could really put you in a position for big scores. Here's why. During a race card, when we approach it, of course, we're going to recognize fields that are deeper, 11, 12, even 13 horses on a turf. And this is every level of racing. Maiden claimers, maiden special weight, claimers, optional claimers, state bred, open company, allowance races, low grade, ungraded stakes races, sprints, mile and a quarter routes, regardless. And of course, all the graded stakes races. But when you have a deep field, you're going to get a distribution of odds, creating what I feel would be inevitable underlays and overlays. Remember, this is what you're thinking, not what the public's thinking. Public is your enemy. You're playing against other people. That's what parimutuel wagering is. And the house, like in poker, taking the rake, raking out theirs, and the house is going to take their takeout. Okay? And stuff like advanced deposit wagering, that's for another conversation altogether. I mean, nobody likes to bet a horse and rather powerfully, or a nice wager, whether it's in exotics or a straight wager, say it 7-1 because you felt like he was an overlay. And then as they're going in the gate and they break out of the gate, boom, you see he's 3-1. Nobody likes that. Even that you could grow in experience to recognize when that's coming. That has a lot to do with checking the board, looking at the will pays in the doubles, the pick threes, pick fours, pick fives, if they're applicable to it. That comes with experience, recognizing what could be a significant drop in odds as they're loading into the gate, or even after they break out of the gate. That's for a different conversation. But back to Superfecta. I've learned over a period of time that Superfectas are a great tool. And first of all, when you handicap a race, regardless how deep of it, know what your precise order is. So if you're going deep, cover your precise Superfecta. Put a deuce on it. Because if you're right, especially if the odds are there for you, you got a few of the horses that are double-digit odds, you're going to get paid if you're precise. However, you lean on your winner. whether your top choice is 3-1 or 33-1, live the values of your handicap. I like super keys. Now, I made a list for myself just to have a graph for you. Working with $1. Obviously, these days you could bet 10. You could bet 10 cent, 20 cent, 30 cent. You do the math. But let's work on a $1 Superfecta wager. $1 Superfecta key, using 3 underneath, where you have to hit all of them, is $6. If you're using 4 out of underneath, where you just need 3 out of the 4, it's $24. If you're using 5 underneath, now you have 5 horses to make 3 in your Superfecta key. That's $60. 6 horses, $120, and 7 is $210. Now, not often I ever go near that $210 mark. And remember, there's a lot of different ways you could do this, because if you're keying your winner, how you bet is so dependent on what the odds of the horses underneath that are part of your handicap, not the money line, not the morning line. It's how what you completed as your handicap, your top choice, and if it's a big field, who's your second, your third, your fourth, fifth, sixth biggest threats. You'll find that you'll be in a position. Like, let me give you an example. If I handicap a 12-horse field going a mile and 16th on a lawn on turf, and say it's just an allowance race, open company, just giving it as an example. If my top choice, who I feel has the best chance of winning the race, is 11-1, and 3 out of my next 6 contenders, I have 3 of them that are 15-1 or better, according to what I feel will be their post-time odds. Just think of the value there. Now, if that's present, you play your key, but if you have 4 of your 6 in double-digit proposed odds at post, that's when you could play the box. Now, the box, because you could use superfectas with change, 10 cents box as a barometer, 4 horses, $2.40, 5 horses, $12, 6 horses, $36, 7 horses, $84, and 8 horses, $168. Now here's one that I've used often, because in a mile and a 16th race or in a sprint, regardless, you never want to lose your bet by a head, neck, nose, or a horse that should have been there on the board but wasn't because he ran into a big, he was steadied, he was blocked, he had no room, and so on. You're playing your key, and you're playing your cold superfecta. But if your horses in that particular handicap are significantly higher odds, multiple overlays, or because the public's not seeing what you're seeing, you'd want to win both. But what I'm trying to say, and it's not so much a hedge, it's just being smart. Your superfecta bet is based on the odds that are out there. So if you took a 10-cent 6-horse box and spend $36, that $36 bet, if you're hitting the superfecta key, that just adds to your winning. But if you lost your winner by a head, neck, nose, half a length, whatever the case is, you're rescued if all your horses are there on the board. And how often do we see a 10-cent superfecta paying $800, $1,000, $1,800, $2,000, $3,500 for a 10-cent superfecta? Not bad for your $36, right? I just wanted to talk about that gimmick today because it really should be part of your arsenal, all right? I've learned over a considerable amount of time that it's my goal to find the overlay. It's my goal also to eliminate what I see as an underlay. And when you have multiple in one race, then who's better than you? Aren't you in a position to be more successful for a bigger score? Another thing I want to talk about, man, I could do a 3-hour show, but I want to keep this segment maybe about 20 minutes or so at max. And I'll talk more about other things down the road. But this is the spring season. We have the big Belmont at Saratoga festival coming up. There's going to be big fields, a lot of talented horses. If I heard it right, it was 24 stakes races in a 4-day period of time. Now, sure, a smaller field, 5-6 horses. Then you're looking at potentially just that cold super or different wagers altogether. But again, if you have overlays and you really have a strong opinion on your horse that's going to win, regardless of his odds, right, then the super key comes into play. Now, if it's a small field, the box really doesn't have much of a comeback play because you're not going to have, it's not going to be often where you're going to have multiple horses that major handicap. They're going to be double-digit odds, all right? So remember, read the board. You determine what the morning line should have been. You want to glance and recognize what the morning line is, sure. But then use that as as leverage for yourself in determining who are the overlays of the race and who are the underlays of the race based on your morning line and based on the morning line that's posted. Okay, makes sense, I think, right? Another thing I want to talk about is, open company horses and state-bred horses. One angle I think is really important to recognize, and this is with every level of wagering, all right? Whether you're betting to win, whether you're looking for a great race to play a cold exact or a big triple or a precise superfecta. I like horses who have shown to perform well, consistently well, in open company, and then they come back to face their state-bred rivals. And so often you find overlays like that where horse may not have won, but if in you reviewing race review, you realize that, he had a couple of board hits, third, fourth, maybe second, but he wasn't winning. And then you got to check the price, and you got to check what happened in the races and who his competition was. But quite often, when you have horses, fillies or colts, running in open company, and in your opinion, based on race review, have been racing well, just not completing the job, then you have to predetermine what their odds should be when they are entered in a state-bred contest, a restricted state-bred, because quite often the public, at least I see this at Monmouth, I see it sometimes at Gulfstream, race by race specifics, but quite often the public will be betting or making a state-bred horse a significant favorite because of his recent form and not taking into consideration the horse he's racing against or the horse I'm talking about that has raced well in open company is coming back to state-bred racing. Important stuff, because if you realize this enough, you'll find overlays in that capacity. I've made several scores like that, all right? Because now if they bet your horse, that's a different story, because now he's being bet according to his form and the fact that he did race well in open company. But, a lot of times in those state-bred races, you see horses being bet based on their current form cycle with state-breds. And then the horse that's coming from the open company ranks is sort of being ignored at the wire, or at the very contributing factor is an overlay, all right? So keep that in mind. What else do I want to talk? Big season coming up. It's time to sharpen your saw as a handicapper. How you bet is essentially important. And don't spread all over the place. If you I go to a simulcasting center because I like to have ticket in handoff. I don't want to sit home and bet. So I can't be distracted that if it's a weekend, they have 5, 6, 7 other racetracks going on. Now, if there's a particular stakes race I want to handicap, I'll do the work the night before. But focus on one track, maybe two, because you need to know what's going on, all right? You need to know what's going on that day at that track. Plus, the greater your knowledge is with one track, the better your advantage is as a horse player. Think about it, right? You know the barns, you know the jocks that race there, you know the intricacies, the nuances, and things that make the track become something that's to your advantage, whether it's fast, sloppy, muddy, whether the turf is firm or good. You know what I'm talking about, all right? So keep those things in mind. Let's have a great end of May, early June handicap session. So much to look forward to at Belmont. Belmont at Saratoga. I'll be back with John and maybe even Jim, Big Race Jim, with Past the Wire TV, providing a very in-depth analysis on the Belmont Stakes and maybe some of the grade ones on the undercard. I just wanted to share these thoughts today on underlays and overlays more so, and talk about some of the beauty of gimmicks, like I mentioned in Superfectas. And same comes to play with triples. You know, I'll close it out. I mean, triples, same thing. Triple key, not so much the box there, but if it is a deep field, 12, 13 horses, and your handicap makes 5, 6, or 7 contenders, and you have a very strong opinion on 1 and 2, but of all your contenders, you have a number of overlays or horses that are going to be inflated odds that other players, remember, you're in a fight versus everybody else. They're not seeing what you're seeing. Then you have to use them under and a key. And yeah, you may want to throw that box in, because the box could be your friend. I understand, you know, on a regular basis, you don't want to, between takeout and the circumstances that, you know, position you to have automatic losing tickets. You can't box everything. But based on the odds on the board and what your handicap determined, yeah, you have to make a business decision. And remember, you're in a fight against other players. There's always going to be the track takeout, all right? But absorb what you can from others, like you guys are absorbing from me when I provide a handicap. But if you're indecisive and you need, you know, if you want to get an additional edge, you have to sharpen your ways, sharpen your saw, so to speak, and just be more thorough, be more focused. And you gotta do your race review, because I'm telling you, it's arduous and time consuming, but the more time you put into your handicapping, the better the success. And, you know, we win together, all right? And you'll win a lot more often if you get nuggets and pearls from other people, just like I have over the years, all right? So you guys have a great day. Thanks for spending, I don't know how long we've been, maybe 20, 25 minutes, but let's go get them, okay? I'll talk to you real soon and see you on the next show.
First crop sires race. Maximum Mischief makes the lead with the most 2-year-old maiden special winners by any sire. On the backstretch, Matoli and Omaha Beach close the gap with stakes performers from coast to coast. Vino Rosso finds his best and leads on the turn with 4 Grade 1 colts on dirt. But it's Matoli with his 3rd TDN Rising Star. your champion freshman, leading an impressive Spendthrift Superfecta.
With new DRF All Access past performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Go to drf.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Mini, a top 10 first crop sire in 2023, standing at McMahon of Saratoga. 14 first crop winners, including My Shady Lady, winner of the $500,000 New York Stallion Series 5th Avenue Stakes, Grade 2 winner Winstock, and Stakes winner Solo Shot. Solo Mini, the 7th leading freshman sire and the only top 10 freshman sire with a Grade 1 or Grade 2 winner. He sired a $700,000 2-year-old at the OBS April sale. His juveniles sold for nearly 6 figures on average, more than 12 times the stud fee. Solo Mini, a controversial DQ from being a Grade 1 winner by 2-time Horse of the Year Curlin, standing at McMahon of Saratoga Thoroughbreds. Sure Bet Coffee. Put the giddy up in your cup. Tracking trips with Pick 6 King John Stetton. It's one of the best tools in horse racing for any level of player. It's your second set of eyes, spotting troubled trips, betting angles, track trends, horses to watch and favorites to fade, 10 figs, ticket structure, and more. At Tracking Trips, you're a friend with benefits. Not a member? You must hate winning money. Join Tracking Trips now. Visit pastthewire.com and we'll see you in the winner's circle. Remember, nobody does it better.
Does it better.